The 2025 FIFA World Cup was supposed to be America's moment, a global celebration on home soil. Anticipation was sky high, with fans ready to unite in stadiums across the country. But instead, headlines screamed, "U.S. stadiums empty!" As Canada and Mexico overflowed with energy, American venues stood eerily quiet. Tickets were scarce, prices soared, and strict rules kept ordinary fans out. The grand entrances became symbols of missed opportunity. The expected roar of a global crowd was replaced by silence. Echoes of footsteps replaced cheers, and the energy vanished. While neighbors celebrated together, American fans were left frustrated and divided by controversy. America had a golden opportunity to shine, but locked the doors and turned off the lights. The chance to unite the world through sport slipped away. A projected $40 billion windfall vanished overnight. Cities across America had prepared for a once-in-a-generation economic surge, expecting packed stadiums and bustling streets. Local economies, from street vendors to five-star hotels, braced for record crowds. But instead, silence filled empty venues and quiet hotel lobbies. Small business owners who bet big on the World Cup were left devastated, their investments gone and dreams dashed. It wasn't just lost revenue, it was a blow to civic pride. Years of preparation ended in disappointment and embarrassment. The 1.5 million international visitors never came. Airports and hotels stood empty. The ripple effect felt everywhere. The Great American Boom became a bust. Storefronts displayed "for lease" signs, a stark reminder of lost opportunity. All because America couldn't process a visa. The world was ready to come, but the doors never opened, and the silence was deafening. What went wrong? One word: visas. The US applied its strict, convoluted travel policies to the world's most global event. While Canada and Mexico streamlined entry, the US doubled down on bureaucracy. Fans from Africa, Asia, and the Middle East faced endless paperwork and year-long embassy waits. Even teams and staff had visas delayed or denied. The result? A two-tiered tournament. Easy entry for some, impossible for others. Advocates warned for years, begging for a special event visa. The US refused. You can't host the world if you won't let the world in. It was a catastrophic failure of foresight and common sense. The human cost was immense. Families from Ghana, fans from across the globe, plane tickets bought, hotels booked, dreams crushed by delayed visa interviews. Journalists and even team delegates were trapped in the same bureaucratic maze. A third of a Japanese TV crew couldn't get visas, shrinking coverage of US matches. The empty seats in stadiums mirrored a lack of global media attention. International fans who did arrive faced grueling interrogations at the border. The message: "You may have a visa, but we still don't trust you." The world saw half-full stadiums, missing the vibrant energy that makes a World Cup special. Instead, rows of empty seats stood as silent proof of America's failure. The world's greatest sporting event, stripped of its soul. While America built a fortress of paperwork, Canada and Mexico rolled out the red carpet. Both countries created temporary, streamlined visa programs for ticket holders. If you had a ticket to Toronto or Guadalajara, you were fast-tracked. Canada's cities buzzed with energy, fans from every continent celebrating together. Mexico's stadiums were packed, the atmosphere electric. Governments worked closely with FIFA to ensure a smooth experience. The contrast was jarring. America's empty stadiums versus Canada and Mexico's roaring crowds. International commentators joked, America had the biggest stadiums, but its neighbors had the party. Canada and Mexico proved you can be secure and welcoming. America missed the lesson. The economic fallout was immediate and brutal. Maria, a food truck owner in LA, invested her savings for the World Cup, only to sell a few hot dogs a day. Hotels in host cities reported disastrous occupancy rates. A Houston hotel, expecting international guests, was left with empty beds and layoffs. The chain reaction hit taxi drivers, restaurant workers, and souvenir sellers. Fan zones became deserted, expensive failures. Local organizers had promised jobs and investment. Instead, they delivered debt and disappointment. The trust between citizens and leaders was shattered. The legacy financial ruin and bitter resentment. FIFA watched in horror as its flagship event sputtered in America. Major sponsors, Coca-Cola, Adidas, Visa, were furious. Their brands, meant to be seen by billions, were plastered over empty seats. Sponsors threatened to pull funding and sue for damages. FIFA faced a financial and PR catastrophe. Emergency meetings, desperate damage control, nothing could fix the fundamental failure. The US had broken its promise to be an open, welcoming host. With sponsors revolting and the tournament's credibility in tatters, FIFA had to act. Holding matches in empty stadiums was no longer an option. The panic button was pressed. The decision was swift and brutal. Key matches, including a semi-final, were moved out of the US. Canada and Mexico stepped up, selling out the relocated games in days. American cities dismantled fan zones, while their neighbors geared up for bigger parties. The US was stripped of hosting duties mid-tournament, a public humiliation. International media was merciless. America, the arrogant host, saved by its neighbors. The narrative of North American unity was dead. Players and fans celebrated the move. Finally, real World Cup energy. The tournament was saved, but not by America. The US was left to reflect on how it snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. The final blow came a week later, an announcement that sent shockwaves through the sports world and left millions in disbelief. FIFA made the unprecedented decision to move the World Cup final from New Jersey to Mexico City, citing insurmountable logistical and diplomatic issues. The biggest game in world sports, a global spectacle watched by billions, was taken from America and handed to its southern neighbor. The loss was staggering. Over $40 billion evaporated overnight. But the damage went far beyond money. It was a catastrophic blow to America's reputation and the trust it once commanded. America had shown the world not strength, but inflexibility, paranoia, and bureaucratic incompetence, leaving allies and fans alike questioning its leadership. The world had hoped for a festival of unity and celebration, but instead found only locked doors and missed opportunities. The long-term consequences for tourism, international relations, and diplomacy would ripple for years, as the US became a cautionary tale. As the final whistle blew in a jubilant, packed Mexico City, the world celebrated together, without America. The lesson was painfully clear. Isolationism and rigidity are losing strategies in a connected world. America had prioritized rigid rules and red tape over common sense, flexibility, and the spirit of the game. In doing so, it engineered its own spectacular and very public failure, leaving fans heartbroken and stadiums empty. The empty stadiums and the relocated final stood as a stark warning to future hosts and leaders everywhere. The 2025 World Cup was not lost to rivals or outside forces, but to America's own short-sightedness and unwillingness to adapt.